Hello, everybody. Welcome to this Odoo webinar. Um, my name is Nikita Semenov. I'm a business analyst from Odoo. And my first question is, well, how's everyone doing and where's everyone from? Please let us know the city and the country you're from in the comments, in the chat. It'll be interesting to know, all the different places that people are watching us from. All right. And today we're going to be talking about custom manufacturing in Odoo with V14. As I said before, it's going to be presented by me, Nikita. My name is Nikita Semenov, and I'm a business analyst here in Odoo. Just move on here. So a little bit about me. What I do on a daily basis in Odoo is I basically help people implement their businesses every day by gathering and analyzing their business requirements, building a structure and mapping their business workflows, and replicating it in Odoo. If you have any questions after this presentation, definitely feel free to email events@odoo.com, and we'll be able to help you out and to guide you to the right people to respond to any questions you might have. All right, let's move on here. So we'll start with basics of Odoo MRP, right? And I think the question here is why use Odoo manufacturing and why use Odoo in general, right? So I think it's a problem and a challenge for a lot of businesses to work with multiple systems. And that's why Odoo is your solution, right? Odoo is an integrated solution for allowing traceability within the system and throughout different apps within Odoo and within your business as well. The other problem with a lot of ERPs is they're not user-friendly, and it's a challenge for a lot of people and a lot of businesses because if it's not user-friendly and if it's not easy to use and easy to learn, it's just not going to work out, right? And that's one of the Odoo's biggest advantages is that it's very user-friendly and very easy to learn as well. And I'm here to show you guys how, right? And the next one is highly customizable, right? Odoo is very, very customizable, and we know that no business is the same. Every business is different. Every business is unique in some way, and Odoo is just perfect for that because we can customize our day-to-day operations depending on how you run your business, right? And let's move on here to the next one. Also, talking about the basics of Odoo MRP is we can talk about typical workflows within Odoo with Odoo apps and specifically manufacturing and how that is integrated with other apps, right? So let's see here. We'll start with the sale, right? We'll sell a product in the sales app, and what will that do? It will create a delivery in inventory, and at the same time, it will trigger a manufacturing order to build that finished product in the MRP app, right? And once we're done with that, it will fulfill our delivery in inventory, and we'll be able to finish our delivery and deliver the finished product to the customer. All right. Let's see here. Another, a little bit more complicated workflow in more detail, I would say, is another. Again, we'll start with the sale that will trigger MRP and that will trigger a delivery in inventory. But also, if we have a manufacturing order and a multi-level BOM or bill of material, and we have a lot of components in those, it will trigger purchase orders to replenish our stock on hand, right? Let's say if we don't have enough components, Odoo will automatically create RFQs to replenish our stock to make sure that we do have enough components to fulfill our manufacturing order. So that purchase orders will create receipts in the inventory app, and once we receive the products, we'll fulfill the order, we'll build the finished products, I will come back to the inventory for the delivery to be fulfilled, and we'll deliver the finished product to the customer. All right. Um, so those are typical workflows for manufacturing in Odoo, and we can talk about different theoretics of this all day long, but obviously I'm here to show you guys how this works. So a little bit more about Odoo here is the demo of Simple Mrp would be us setting up products and bills of materials for those products, um, creating a basic manufacturing order, and using variants with BOMs, right? Now here's the problem with custom products, right? When we have custom products and custom productions, and sometimes businesses have websites where customers can create products on the website right away on the go. They can build a product. The problem with that is that you know, we we have to have build materials for all those possible combinations, and obviously it might be a little concerning sometimes because we might have thousands and thousands of different combinations, and we would then have to create bills of materials for all those combinations, and obviously it's not something that we want to do, right? Um, So option one is have a BOM for each possible combination, as we said before, and disadvantage of that is too much manual work and data entry. That's something that we want to avoid, right? When we try to implement an ERP system, we try to avoid human mistakes as much as possible, and we try to automate as much as we can. And that's why we choose Odoo to do this, because Odoo is just so amazing with this. Because option two, let Odoo do the work. Uh, we will use apply and variant feature on bills of materials. It's something that will allow us to have one single bill of material for a product that will be so flexible that we don't have to create thousands and thousands of different BOMs for all the possible combinations and variants of that product. We will only have to have one BOM that will allow us to be so flexible that Odoo will create a new bill of material for every possible combination every time there's a sales order for that. Okay, so let me just switch to the real life database and show you guys how that can be done. All right, let's see here. So just switch to the database here, and so this is a usual Odoo database where I have pre-configured a couple of products and BOMs. And as you can see here, we have the apps that we have is, and we're going to be using our sales, purchasing, inventory, and manufacturing, right? So I will start with simply going to inventory first, just to kind of give you an overview of all the products that we're having and their setup. Okay, so right now this is our database with all the products, right? We're going to be working with wooden airplanes today, and we're going to be building them, and they're going to be custom, right? So I have this product, which is a wooden airplane, and these are all the components, right? So we have three different types of a body, three different types of wingspan, and then different tire types, and different types of wood that will be used to build this. Okay. Now, if I filter to can be sold here, we can only see one finished product because the rest of the items are not for sale. They're simply components for this wooden airplane, right? So if I click on this, um, it's going to take me to the form view of this product. And I can see a bunch of different information about this product that either I filled in or it was logged automatically depending on what happened in the past, right? So you can see the product type, the sales price here, and if I switch to the variance tab right here, you can see the different attributes and their values that are possible in this product. Okay, so we have the body size, wingspan, tires, and wood type. Okay, and all those values are here. If I click on edit here, I will be able to add another attribute if I wanted to, and different values here as well. Okay, save this. Quickly, if I switch to the inventory tab real quick here, we also have routes here. And routes that are pre-configured for this product are replenish on order, or make to order, which is MTO, plus manufacture. So basically what we're saying is every time there's an order for this product, we want Odoo to automatically create a manufacturing order to fulfill the need. Okay. Now let me quickly go to the bill materials tab here to take a look at the actual bill material of this product. Okay. So we have what I call a united bill of materials, right? So this BOM has all the possible components that can go into this, okay? So I have all the body types here, all the wingspan types, all the wood types, and the tires, right? All the possible combinations, and as you can see here on the quantity, for example, for the tires, I have 2 of each, right? Because an airplane won't work with 1 tire, it will work at least with 2. So that's what we need for this one. All right. And the feature that I was talking about is apply on variance. It's right here. Okay, so if I click on edit here, and if I wanted to edit my bill of materials, I would have to add a line here, add a component, and I would be able to specify if I wanted to use that component on every BOM, right, on every possible manufacturing order, or if I only wanted to use that component specifically on this specific variant type, right? So in this case, if a customer chooses a large body type, this component will be chosen for that bill material. Okay, let me just save this and go ahead and show you guys how you can create an order with this and how this actually works. All right, so to do that, I'm going to exit out to the main database. I'm going to go to sales, and I'm just going to create a quotation here. All right, I can choose a customer. It's going to be a brand new customer right here, and add a product. Right. When I click on a drop down, you can see that there's only one product that I can choose because this is the only saleable product that I have in my database as we saw initially. Okay. So once I click on this, it's going to give me this little screen where I can choose different features that I want in my airplane. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose medium body size, small wingspan, type 3 tires, and a walnut wood type. All right, and I just want one of them. I'm just going to go ahead and add this to my quotation. All looks good. We have the unit price, subtotal, total taxes, quotation date, the customer. I'm just going to go ahead and save this and confirm right away. Okay. As you can see, once I confirmed, it went from the quotation state straight to the sales order, right? So once we confirm a quotation, that will mean to Odoo that this order is confirmed and we have to fulfill it. Also, what you will see is the 2 different buttons right here that appeared once I confirm the order. One of them is the manufacturing order, and the other one is delivery. As we saw before in the presentation, that's what Odoo triggers. And let me just take a look at the manufacturing here, right? So let's click on manufacturing, and what I'm seeing here is that we have all these components that I've chosen before previously in here in this bill of materials, right? So we have the medium body, small wingspan, walnut units, and 2 of those tires of type 3. But what I can see also is that they're not available right now, right? Because I don't have anything in my stock right now. I'm literally, everything is zeroed out. There is nothing in my warehouse. So on the top right, you can see this little purchasing tab button. And if I click on this, it's going to take me to that PO that was triggered by this manufacturing order, right? So what happened was Odoo created a manufacturing order that had these specific components in it, and we obviously had a need for those to fulfill the order. Now, we didn't have those in our inventory, so what we have to do, we would have to create a PO to fulfill the manufacturing order. And Odoo did it automatically because the routes on these components are MTO and buy. Basically meaning that whenever we need them, we'll buy them from our vendor. And as you can see here on the PO, the vendor is a brand new vendor that are pre-selected, pre-configured on these components. And these are the components that we need to fulfill the manufacturing order. Again, wingspan, body type, 2 tires, and the type of wood. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and confirm this order and receive products. Let's say a week went by and we're ready to receive it in our warehouse. Just going to go ahead and validate this receipt and apply all the quantities, all the done quantities. All right, so we can see here as well that demand and the done quantities here for traceability, right? So we fulfilled the demand and it all looks good. Now, if I wanted to go back to the PO, I can just simply follow the breadcrumbs right here on the top. And I'm just gonna click on PO right here. And now I have, 2 options here. How to come back to my manufacturing order. I can either go to that manufacturing order right here from the PO, or I can follow the breadcrumbs. All right. I'm just gonna go ahead and go from here. And now we can see that we have all the components, quantities to consume, and they're already reserved because we already received them from that purchase we just made, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and mark it as done. Boom. So now it's done. We indicated that we are done with our manufacturing order. We've done building the airplane. And as well, here in the manufacturing order, you can see right away that there is one purchase associated with it, one sale associated with it, and we can also take a look at the product moves, valuation, and cost analysis. Okay, so if I ever want to track it back, it's super easy to do because I can always come back to this manufacturing order and take a look, where the components came from and what the manufacturing order was made for, right? So let me just go ahead and come back to the sale, to the original sale. I'm not going to do it from here, but I can always follow up the breadcrumbs here and click on this sales order. All right. So we've done our manufacturing. Now, all that's left to do for us is to deliver the product. Okay. So I'm just going to click on this delivery button right here. And we see that this delivery is ready to be fulfilled and validated. And I see that the quantity is reserved, right, of this wooden airplane, but zero is done. Okay, so what we're gonna do is simply click on validate button and apply all the quantities. Boom, it's done. All right, so we did deliver the product to the customer. We're done with the sale. The only thing that's left to do for us is come back to the sales order and create an invoice. Okay, we can just create a regular invoice, confirm this, and send it to the customer. Okay, so right now it's posted and we're just waiting for that payment from the customer. Okay, so that's really how it just shows you how easy it is in Odoo to first deal with custom products and their bills of materials, right? Second, the traceability. It's just amazing because I can always come back to the sales order and I can take a look at the invoices, at the deliveries that links to this, at the manufacturing order, right? And then I can go to the manufacturing order here and I can also see where all the components came from on the purchasing tab. I can go back to the sale and I can literally track all the product moves of every type of component and finished product that's associated with this manufacturing order. Okay. So let me just go back to the inventory here and show you guys how what was the configuration on the components so that they were triggered by Odoo to be bought automatically. Okay, so let me just choose any one of them. If I switch to the inventory or to the purchasing tab here, you can see that I've pre-configured a vendor on this specific product. Okay, so I said, okay, if there's ever a need for us to buy it from someone, and we want Odoo to trigger it automatically, this is the vendor that we buy it from. This is the usual price and the delivery time. All right. So then Odoo knows which vendor to create an RFQ for and what price to use. Okay. And then if I switch to the inventory tab, you can see the routes here is replenish an order and buy. That basically says that, whenever we have a need for this component, Odoo will trigger a buy route, which will create an RFQ to buy from this same vendor. Okay. So this is just tells us once again how easy it is to use Odoo in this case, and how easy it is for us to also track all the components throughout the business process. Okay. Now, the next part of this, what I wanted to do is I wanted to add something a little more to that bill of materials. Okay. So let's say I wanted to enable options for this wooden airplane for my customers to choose the paint or the color that they want this wooden airplane to be. Okay, so right now if I look at the variants, I don't see any colors in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on configuration here and go to attributes. And on the attributes, list view is the place where we can configure, create, and edit different attributes, right? And I have already created a color attribute, which it only has two values, right? Red and blue. We're just gonna make it simple this time and just stick to the red and blue. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go back to my products and I'm gonna create a new product, which is going to be paint, right? Something that I can use on my bill of materials, something physical, right? A component that I can add to my BOM. Okay, so this is going to be a storeable product, and the variants in this are going to be color, and we're just going to have two values, right? Red and blue. That's all. All right, and here we can also add the vendor here. New vendor, and the price is going to be just $1. All right. On the inventory, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to add that MTO route. So that way, again, we have an MTO and buy. So whenever we have a need, we can fulfill it. All right. All right. Looks good. I'm just going to go ahead and save this. So now the next step for me would be to add this paint to the original bill of material of my original product. Okay, so following the breadcrumbs, I can just come back, select wooden airplane, then bill material, choose the bill material, go ahead and edit this, and add the paint. Now you'll see this right here. When I'm looking for the paint, it gives me two different options, right? Paint red and paint blue. What happens is Odoo automatically instantly created two different variants for that product. One with the red variant, one with the blue variant, right? So right here I can choose one of them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and choose the red paint and add another line and add the blue paint right here. Now, if I save this and I leave it like this, every time I order something, because I didn't specify here applying variance, every time we have an order for this, both of these guys will be selected because they're just generic, right? They're going to be here by default, and they're always going to be added to that bill of materials unless we specify it here. Okay. So if I go back to the product, open up the variance, I'm going to edit this, and I'm going to add the variance as well, right? So we're just going to add color, red, and blue. Save this. So now we added the variance here, and if I go back to my bill of materials, I will be able to specify the variance that I can apply on the specific components. Okay, so if I click on this drop-down menu and look for color, for blue, for example, or in this case it would be red, I choose the red here, and I choose blue here. All right, so we specified which variant specifically we want this to be applied on, and after that we can just go ahead and save this. And boom, now it's saved. We extended our bill of materials, and now it's even more flexible, and we have even more options here. And let's just go ahead and make a sale again. But this time we're going to also add the color, of course. So let me just create a quote again. Add the customer, and add the product. And again, we have the pop-up window. So let's say this time I want body size to be small, wingspan to be large, tire step 2, oak, and then I can choose in between two colors. Let's make it blue. Just gonna go ahead and add this. All looks good. Let's just go ahead and confirm this and save. All right. So again, looking at the smart buttons here, we have one delivery order generated and one manufacturing order generated. Okay. So if we click on the manufacturing order again, um, we can see that these components are not available again. Okay, we don't have anything in stock. So a PO was generated. Okay, so if I click on PO, we can see all the components that were needed to fulfill the manufacturing order were added to this MO, and the vendor is the brand new vendor, right? The vendor that we specified on these components previously. All right, let's see here. So all components look good. We have our paint here. So let me just go ahead and confirm this order. And let's see, another week went by and we received the products in our warehouse, validate the receipt here. Boom, looks good. But let me just follow the breadcrumbs and come back to my manufacturing order. And let's see, we're ready to actually do this and manufacture and create this airplane, put it together. All looks good. We have the quantities are reserved. Now all that's left to do is to consume them, right? So let me just go ahead and mark this as done. Consume the quantities. Boom. So the quantities are consumed. The manufacturing order is done now. So if I go back to the sales order and I open up the delivery tab, we'll see now that it's ready to be validated. We can validate this, and that the quantities for this delivery are reserved. Okay, so we have one of that specific airplane reserved for this specific delivery, to be delivered to this customer. Okay, all looks good. Let me just go ahead and validate this and apply. Boom, it's done now, right? So that will indicate that we delivered the product to the customer. And again, coming back to that sales order, all that's left for us to do is to create an invoice. Okay. Again, very nice, super easy to work with, super user friendly. It's very easy to track, to track any types of components or the products, where they went to, where they came from, where they were delivered, when they were manufactured, and all that stuff. Okay. Let's see here. So I think this is pretty much the majority of my presentation. One thing that I wanted to do also is show you guys how we can also pretty quickly change the type of bill of materials, right? So if I choose this guy right here and open up the bill of materials here, if I click on edit, you guys can see that we have two different types of bill of materials. Okay, we have manufacturing this product and we have a kit. The difference in between these two is that when the manufacturer of this product is chosen, a manufacturing order is created. Okay, but if we create a kit, if we switch it to the kit, there is no MO that's going to be generated and it's going to be created, because we don't really need this, right? Because kits are not going to be manufactured in-house. Okay, so what's going to happen in Odoo is that if it's a kit, the components right away will be sent to the customer, so the customer can assemble the finished product. Okay, so let's just go through this again and see how it's going to work with kits. All right, just go ahead and save this. And now if I run through the sale again, same simple workflow, brand new customer, and the product. Everything else is going to stay the same. We have the same ability to choose all this different variants here. So I'm just gonna let's this time just stick to the small type 1 oak, and this time it's going to be red. So let's just add this to the order. Looks good. Let's confirm this. Save. And now what we can see on the sales order is that instead of that manufacturing tab or smart button, what we can see here is the purchasing smart button. Okay, so delivery is generated again. So let's just take a look. There's no products that we can deliver now because all these components are not available. We don't have them in stock. Okay, and as you can see here, it's waiting another operation. So we can't really validate this because we have to check for availability first, and the components have to be available. Okay, so let's just go back to the sales order and take a look at the purchasing tab. All right, let's see here. So what we can see is that even though the manufacturing order wasn't triggered, because now the bill of material type is a kit instead of manufacturing, still the purchase order was generated because we still need to fulfill those components. And if we don't have them, the routes are the same in them, right? So we have MTO and buy routes enabled on those components. So every time there's a need for them and we don't have them in stock, a PO will be generated to be sent to this vendor to fulfill the need. Okay. So again, it looks good. All the components are here. The paint is here as well. Confirm the order. The next step here is to receive the products and validate this. All right, we validated this. We received the products. If I go back to the PO, again, as part of this of the whole traceability, which is great in Odoo, you can see that we have this receipt generated and linked to this PO, as well as the sale. Right. In this case, the sale was the document that triggered this PO. Right. So if I click on this, it's just going to take me to that sales order directly. So now we have purchased the components. We have them in stock. So the last thing that I'm going to do is click on that delivery tab and just see that all these quantities are reserved and it's ready to be validated. So I'm just going to go ahead and validate this, apply the quantities, and boom, it's done. We have basically let's go over this workflow again, right? We have a sales order that was confirmed. That was created by our customer. It was confirmed by our salespeople, and then we had that sales order created a need for the components that we didn't have in stock. So Odoo went ahead and created a purchase PO for those components to fulfill the need and to buy them from our vendor. So we created a PO. We bought the components. We received them. We fulfilled the need. Once they were in our warehouse, they were reserved automatically, specifically for this sales order. And once they were reserved, we could just go ahead and validate the delivery and deliver them to our customers. All right. Again, super straightforward, super easy, and very well connected, right? Because we can see how Odoo just really connects this same order within within different apps in Odoo, correct? Because in this very workflow, it started with sales, but we really used sales, purchase, inventory, and manufacturing apps, right? And all that was triggered automatically. And again, just super easy to use because we could see all those tabs from the same screen, okay, from that sales order. So, if I wanted to go back and check up on them, I could just go back to that sales order in this list view, right? And just see what happened here, what kind of a purchase it was, what kind of a product, and where it went, where the components came from each purchase order, and so on and so forth, right? And I can do the same with this sales order. Even though it was manufactured, I can still, track it back to the very beginning and to see what happened there and where it all came from. All right. Okay. So let me see if there's any questions specifically from our viewers. Let's see here. So I'm not receiving any questions so far. But yeah, how are you guys doing? And let us know in the comments or in the chat if how was this presentation? How was this demo? Or anything that you might have questions with, or any type of stuff that you liked about this workflow. If you think it was easy, because I think it's really easy and really well streamlined and very straightforward. And I think that's why that's the value of Odoo. That's something that Odoo brings to the board, and just tells you guys, if you have a business like this, we're here to help you out. we're here to configure it for you and just make sure that you don't have to go back and forth in between different softwares, right? Because it's also one of the problems currently with a lot of businesses is that they use different softwares for different needs, right? So they can, people can use one software for accounting, another software for inventory management, then another software for CRM and sales, and then another software for manufacturing or purchasing, right? And obviously it cannot be well connected because sometimes you can connect them with APIs, but you have to deal with that, and it's just a lot of headache. Where here it's just you have everything in the same place, it's the same system, right? It's the same software. It understands how it works. Different apps, they literally talk to each other, and everything is linked. Okay, so you just have that possibility, and it's just that easy for you to do business in here, right? Because that's what we're trying to do here. We're just trying to help you guys really streamline your business and be as successful as possible. All right. Let me check if there's any questions. It might be in the chat that I will be able to answer. All right, there's a question from one of the viewers. What if you have multiple warehouses? It's a multi-warehouse setup that we would use, and it really depends on your flow. If it's internal in between, if you want to do transfers in between your warehouses, or it really depends because we can pre-configure different routes depending on your business needs, and sometimes it can be um, so that you can resupply one warehouse from another. Let's say if you don't have anything in hand in this specific warehouse, but then you have another warehouse that you have stuff in there. We can pre-configure it so then you can resupply it and then send it to the customer. Or it's also possible, depending on where the warehouses are located, you can predetermine which warehouse you want to use for which location, right? So let's say if I have a warehouse in Colorado and a warehouse in New Jersey, and a customer from Nevada, obviously it will make more sense for me to fulfill the order from Colorado warehouse rather than from New Jersey, right? And so it's configurable in Odoo, and it's really easy to use, and we can just it really depends on specifics, but the value here is that we can specify it and configure it the right way because again, Odoo is really customizable to your business, and we'll be able to help you out with that. Let's see. There's more questions coming. Can you make changes midstream? Different wingspan. Let's see here. So that's a really good question. So can we make changes during the production, right? So let's say there was a change that we need to do, and maybe something changed midstream, and then we have to change our bill of material or our manufacturing order for that specific order, right? So let me just start with this. I'm just going to go to inventory products and open up the product and take a look at the bill of material. So let me actually just go back to manufacturing here and open up bills of materials. Let me take a look at here. Right, we aren't able to see it in here, but if I wanted to create a new bill of material for a product on the miscellaneous tab here, you would be able to see flexible consumption. Right, so we have a feature where you can block it, you can allow it with warning, or you can just allow it. So what that will have to do is that, let's say, again, you realize that you have to make a change to that manufacturing order midstream. What will happen is Odoo will allow you make changes in the manufacturing order before it's validated. Okay, so when it's still in a ready mode, but you didn't produce the finished good yet, you can still make changes to that bill of materials. Okay, so you can still add a line or add or edit the quantities of the components or anything like that. Okay, so it really depends on the configuration here, on the configuration of the BOM itself. And if you choose allowed or allowed warning, Odoo will let you do changes or any type of edits throughout the process. All right, hopefully that answers the question. Let's see here. The next question is, can I purchase a BOM from vendor at a discounted rate and receive in the components applying the BOM discount? Okay, let me see here. Discount. So, okay, let me read the question again. Can I purchase a BOM from a vendor at a discounted rate and receive in the components applying the BOM discount? So I think the question here is, if we have a discount for that specific set of components from that vendor, can we just have a discount for that bill of material, right? When we fulfill the order and when we order it from the vendors, right? So the answer to that is yes. We would have to pre-configure a vendor price list for that. Okay, where we could specify, if I buy from this specific vendor and this product, depending on the quantity or anything like that, I will be able to specify which discount I use, and it would just be pre-configured before the transaction happens, right? So before we even start going live with Odoo, obviously we would pre-configure that. We would upload our vendors price lists, which is basically discounts for vendors depending on the product. And we would be able to specify that and pre-configure it prior to operations, so that then once we start using Odoo, Odoo will know, which products or which components will have discounts when we order them from specific vendors. And there's lots and lots of different sets of rules that we can specify on those products or vendors to have different discounts and stuff like that. Let's see on the website. So I have a kit product. How can I show available stock of individual BOM on the website? All right, let's see here. So basically, the question is, if my product is a kit, how can it be visible for my website visitors? Can they see the stock on hand? Okay, can they see if it's available or not? And it is available. I don't have a website application here right now to show you guys, but once we have e-commerce enabled, the quantities on hand, there is a possibility for us to, or a feature to show the quantities to the customers, so they will be able to see whether that specific bill materials or that combination is available or if it's not. Okay, so Odoo will warn them and us as well if they're trying to fulfill an order and there's not enough quantities on hand. So they will be notified about that, as well as us as users of Odoo, right? So users on the back end will also be notified about that. Let's see here. How do you confirm delivery to customer? How do you configure store and warehouse and we sell from store? Let's see here. So first of all, I guess there's two questions in one. How do you confirm delivery to the customer, right? So again, as we saw on the sales order, let me just come back here. So when we have a sales order and let's say the MO was done, we built the product and we validated the delivery. Right, upon validation, we indicate that the product was delivered to the customer, and basically if I come back to the sales order, I can send an email to the customer right here, right? So uh, what you see on the right side here is what we call a chatter. So let's say the customer's name, let's say in this case is brand new customer, and they should have an email pre-configured in Odoo as well, because we already added the customer. And if I take a look at this little thing right here, the followers of the document is me, because I'm responsible for this order, and the customer themselves, right? So then we have two options here. One of them is log a note. The other one is send a message. They look very similar, but there's one little thing that differentiates them, right? If I log a note, it's going to be log this. You can see it's gray. So what happens here? Once I log a note, it's going to ping everyone internally in Odoo, right? So everyone on the back end, whoever is responsible for this, or whoever is a follower of this document specifically, because I can add more followers here, they will be pinged that there's been some activity on the chatter. Okay, and there's been a note for them. Now, if I wanted to send a message to the customer from here, I don't have to go anywhere else. I can just do it directly from this sales order, because again, this is the whole mindset, right? We try to keep everything in the same place, so you guys don't have to go different places and then lose traceability of everything, right? We try to keep everything in the same place. So here, if I click on send a message, I'm just gonna go ahead and send this. And you can see here that this one is not gray anymore, it's in white, basically indicating that this went out to the customer. Okay, so the difference between send a message and log a note is that log a note is internal, completely internal. Send a message will be sent out to the customer itself. So it's external, as well as it will notify everyone internally too. In this case, you can see that it's in red because I don't think we have an email on this customer here. So I think that it might have been not delivered because the email address is invalid, because there is no email here. But once the email is added, this message will be sent out and delivered to the customer, right? So the customer will get an email, as well as everyone who is responsible and following this document will be notified as well. All right, let's see here. Will the manufacturing order contain a sales order reference when you use a custom BOM? Okay, that's a really good question. So again, it's back to our traceability question and referencing, right? So let me just take a look at this manufacturing order. So it's manufacturing order 0008. If I switch to the miscellaneous tab here, right? So okay, let's take a step back. We have two different tabs here. One of them is components, where I can check all the components, how much I want to consume, and how much is consumed already. If I switch to this miscellaneous tab, I can see the source here. The source field is really what we're looking for in this case. It's the sales order number, right? Not only I have the smart button here, and if I click on it, it will take me to that sales order. I can also take a look here. And if I go back to the manufacturing app and open it up, clear the to-do filter. Right now, what we're seeing is the list view of all the manufacturing orders that were either done, canceled, or maybe they're in drafts mode still, or planned and stuff like that, and schedule. So you see the reference of the manufacturing order itself, the scheduled date, the product that's being manufactured, and the next column here is the source. So it's really easy for us to see and to maybe filter by or group by a source in this case. So this really tells us a story about this manufacturing order and where it came from, right? If it was just created by us manually, or if it was triggered by something. In this case, I could tell that all of them were triggered by a sale, and they're all, I believe, different sales, right? So in this case, it's number 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So I think this is really helpful. And if we have multiple manufacturing orders per one sale, what I can do, what I personally find very useful, is group by option here, right? So if I wanted to group by the stores, I can just click here on the group by, add custom group, and just group by source. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply this, and you can see the groupings here, right? So now um, I'm not seeing the MO numbers anymore. I'm just seeing the source numbers. Okay, source references. So in this case, if I wanted to take a look at the sales orders, all the MOs that were triggered by the same sales order, I could just group by and take a look at this, open it up, and see all the manufacturing orders, right? In this case, we only have one per source, but if I had 5 here, they would all be listed under this same source. Okay, let's see here. And as well as I can, obviously, if I clear this, I can also filter by the source. Okay, that's pretty easy to do too. So source, and then let's say if I only wanted to see manufacturing orders from source, that would contain sales order number 9, I would just add 09, apply this, and I can see, the manufacturing order that was triggered by this sales order. Right, let's see here. If the cost of components changes, is it possible to update the price of the variant based on the change of cost of the component? Yeah. So this question is, let's say we have different components on the BOM, and it's all about costing, right? And we really want to see the cost of the whole bill of material depending on the components. Okay. So let me just take a step back here. Go to the original product. Right here. Actually, let's just take a step back to the product and switch to the list view, right? Right now, this is a Kanban view. We can switch to the list view here, which will probably give us more information a little bit. So this is the finished product, the wooden airplane, right? And here on the right side, we can also see the costs of the products, right? We can see the sales price, which in this case is $100. I'm selling this airplane for $100, and the cost of components. Okay, so I can see some of the components, they have the costs, some of them they don't. And let me just open this up and take a look at the variants that have been created so far. Okay, and let me just open up one of them. So we can see the public price here, and the cost is 0 for right now. And we have this feature where we can compute price from BOM. Okay, if I click on this, you can see how it immediately changed to 10. And the reason for that, the reason why is because it basically Odoo looked at the components, took the cost from the components, and just summed it up and let it here, right? So if I had to change, let's say body size medium, right? If I had to change with that, let me just duplicate the tab, and we're gonna just change the cost of this guy and see how that reflects on the cost of the this variant. Okay. Just go to products, list view, and we need body size medium. So right now the cost here is $5. So let's just go ahead and switch it to 25, for example, and save this. All right, so now the cost is $25. If I switch back to this and I click on this again, now you can see how it changed from 10 to 30 immediately, right? So it basically looked at the components again, and it saw this body medium component that's, we changed the cost, and it just added it here. So now it's $30. So that's the way to tackle this, and to track the cost of BOMs in Odoo. Depending on how the costs were changing for the components, the cost of BOM will be changed as well, and that will also help us later on with cost of goods sold in accounting. All right. Let me see here. I don't see any more questions. So hopefully I was able to answer all the questions for today. Hopefully you guys had a good time, and this was very helpful. So thank you so much. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to events@odoo.com, and they'll be able to guide you to the right people to either help you out with something or answer your questions. All right. My name is Nikita Semenov. I'm a business analyst here at Odoo, and thank you for your time. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Have a good one.